This is a story of my most ambitious trip ever. Spoiler alert, it was a epic fail. So our trip has taken a twist. We're here in the district of Saramacca and the car has just broke down even before the trip has even started. My trip started in Suriname for obvious reason, and the idea was to travel through the countries Guyana, Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia. Together with 3 other friends, this looked like a very plausible expedition. All we needed was a car, which I had, of course. Remember this video? This car was 2 years in the making. It was built especially for this trip. In this video, I will show you how this trip wasn't a success. It all started very early in the morning here in the country of Suriname. We were on our way to the district Nikeri, where we experienced a lot of difficulties along the way to Nikeri. We actually left home very early but got a lot of hiccups on our way to our destination, which was weird because this car was actually tested in the harshest roads of Suriname.
Check out the open road, people!
Alas, the problem of the car was a lot worse than I expected, so we decided to return home. We're not even in Bolivia yet, and the car has just broke down on our way to my home. So we're going to push the car in this little shade we have, and I'm going to try and fix it to avoid having to call a tow wagon. Now the reason the car failed is because it had a fuel circulation problem. The fuel pump gave up. I was using an external fuel pump, and I don't think these things were built to last a whole marathon. So I had to find a way to install the original fuel pump the car came with to get the car rolling as soon as possible. Original pump, she runs. This is the part that broke down yesterday. It's an external fuel inline pump that is supposed to pump fuel to the engine, and this is the part that actually held me back from crossing the border to Guyana. So I'm going to head to Paramaribo today and see what kind of brands they have to replace this current part. Expensive. Finally, on the second attempt, we reached the Kanawaima ferry service between Nikeri and Guyana. Good day, good day, good day. This is take 2 of my trip to Bolivia. The first day was a complete fail here. The car broke down in Saramacca, as you've seen earlier in this video. And finally, Saturday, we made it to Nikeri. It was a very hectic travel. We just barely made it to the ferry. If we were 5 minutes later, this trip would have been postponed for yet another day. But we finally arrived here at the Kanawaima ferry crossing. This is my first experience driving with my car through another country. Guyana is my first stop, and from there we're going to Giftland, one of my favorite mall I've been to. And we were so excited because it was finally happening. So we thought. We actually thought that we were going to make it to Bolivia. With a lot of enthusiasm, we waited for the ferry. After checking into Guyana, I found out that I had to register my car. It's mandatory for all international vehicles to register a car in Guyana if you are staying for more than 2 weeks. So ladies and gentlemen, you know how it is at these customs. It always takes time, and you're not always allowed to film. So I've got the permission to take my car into Georgetown. I have a maximum stay of 14 days. So I have to go to Georgetown and extend the limit of my stay for my vehicle because it's a necessity. So we're going to get the car ready, rest a bit, look for something to eat before we go to Camp Street.
Hej, det är sån camera nu. Åh nej, kan jag klippa?
So we're finally driving in Guyana for the first time in our lives. Me and the boys are heading to Georgetown, as I was saying, and I've got my first experience being bribed by a cop.
Driving the cop.
Yes, and I tried to talk my way out of it, but my silver tongue wasn't good enough. But I think that I will have a lot of practice these coming days. So let us go to Georgetown, find something to eat, perhaps look for a hotel to spend the night. We'll see. We've just stopped at the Shell service station for a quick pit stop. We're going to cross the road and look for data because we need internet. This is wild, man. I've never been to this part of Guyana before. I've never stopped at this part, and it's very occupied. People here are very, very crazy in a good sentence. How are you guys going?
What är YouTube channel here?
Exploring with Dadja.
Exploring with Dadja.
Exploring with Dadja. I've been here before. I've already vlogged. So this is my second time coming here. And after 4 hours, we finally reached Giftland, a very popular mall in Georgetown. A mall I recommend visiting. Ladies and gentlemen, we just reached our destination, the first capital city of our South American tour. The capital city of Guyana, called Georgetown. We are at a familiar place, Giftland Mall. We're going to look for some food and see if this mall has changed since I've been here in January. It's good to be back here again. It's a nice place for a rest, pit stop, a much needed pit stop because I've been driving for hours and I haven't slept in a while. We're going to get some food and I'm very happy to be here in the cold. Look what they have here. A Akatsuki costume. I think this would have suited me really good. Joey, how much for this? Try it, man. Wait, how about Evo? Good quality nerd stuff.
Ja, maar was een goede keus, toch?
Was je het?
Kijk, dat is reden en zo redden, maar nee hoor, dat heeft wel voordelen.
In Georgetown, we had a little debate if we wanted to continue this trip with my car or not because a lot of stressful things happen off screen. But yeah, I was the only one that could work with the camera, so most of the things that happened along the way to Georgetown wasn't caught on camera. For example, I got stopped a lot by the police officers of Guyana because the car is like a freaking Frankenstein, man. The car raised a lot of eyebrows, which led to often being stopped by the authorities of Guyana. A lot of confidence was lost in my car, and for safety reasons we had to return home because I don't want to drive a car with my passengers feeling unsafe. We decided to book an Airbnb somewhere in Guyana, just 2 hours away from Georgetown, and yeah, that's what we decided to do. So we've just finished our meal. We're going to head to our bed and breakfast, which we booked through Airbnb. We're going to spend the weekend here in Georgetown to wait till Monday for the customs to open. Ryan is always getting himself into trouble with the locals because he talks too much. Good morning everybody, here at our bed and breakfast, which we have booked through Airbnb. The lovely family of Sarju has prepared the breakfast for us. Let's see what we're having today's morning.
Eggs. We have balanci chuka.
Oh, choka. Oh, that's...
You know what it is?
Yeah, I know what choka is.
Okay, and you have paratha roti.
Okay, so we're having roti. Guyanese style roti.
Yeah, Guyanese local, dish. No foreign.
Okay.
We go local.
Nice. So this is what my breakfast looks like when served. Usually, I don't combine eggs, mochi, and roti together. I love to eat roti with curry. But this is the first time. It's the first time for everything. So I'm going to try it, and I'll let you know. I'm going to wrap the eggs around the roti and dip it with the eggplant. To be honest, eggplant is my least favorite vegetable out there. This is what it looks like. Oh, bon appetit! Oh, watermelon, thank you. Well, we're also surprised by receiving watermelon. This is a mighty breakfast. So I'm going to eat in peace, and I'll see you later, okay? So Mr. Sarju is going to give us a small tour around his property, and he's going to show us what you can do around here when you're staying at the Sarju's bed and breakfast. Sarju's bed and breakfast is here alongside a branch of the Demerara River, which is filled with otters, caimans, and piranhas, but you still have the possibility of swimming. I'm now going to walk to the hut and take a fresh dip into this piranha infested river. We had a wonderful weekend at the family of Sarju. They were really friendly. He had some very large acres of land in which he did agriculture. A weekend here was around $50 per person, and food was included. Or rather, I don't know if food was included, but they fed us food, man, and they fed us for free. We were spoiled by the family Sarju with food, a lot of food. And we had some wine tasting that was done at night, but somehow all those footages got lost somewhere, so I apologize for not showing you that. But he had some homemade wine and they were really good. Sugarcane wine, jamun wine, they were really good. So yeah, that was a weekend in Georgetown. We spent around 4 days in Guyana. I'm really sad to say that this trip was a complete failure because I kind of bragged about it 2 weeks before my trip even started. But that doesn't mean that I won't ever attempt it again. I've learned a lot from this experience. I've received a few tips and I've learned a lot from this trip to be more successful for the next time I'm going to attempt this trip. It might not be this year, it might not be next year because I have bigger plans, but I still want to drive my car to Bolivia. If you've enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in my next adventure. Peace.